Opening. I may be wrong. Civilization is building a machine on the assumption that man is machine. That is the first fact, not the newest model, not the clever answer, not the stock price, the policy paper, the trembling sermon, the boardroom prophecy, the classroom panic. Beneath all of it lies an old wager in new dress, that the mind is a mechanism, that thought is an operation, that judgment is pattern, that speech is output, that the soul, if the word is permitted at all, is only a name we gave to processes we had not yet learned to imitate. Artificial intelligence is not merely a tool in this argument. It is the argument given engines. Much of the public argument about artificial intelligence avoids this because it is too large, too old, and too impolite. We prefer nearer questions. Who owns the model? Whose jobs will it take? What rules will restrain it? Will it flatter, deceive, replace, accelerate, corrupt, heal, teach, surveil, govern? These are not small questions. They are only not the first question. The first question is not whether machinery can outperform this or that human capacity, as a plow surpassed the hand, a loom surpassed the weaver, and a cannon surpassed the arm. It is whether machinery can surpass man as the bearer of intelligence, judgment, and agency. If the materialists are right, artificial intelligence is not simply an invention. It is not even really an invention. It is a succession. Carbon found the trick first. Silicon may run it better. The creature who believed himself crowned because he could reason will discover that reason was never a crown. It was a technique. It was a temporary advantage in the long contest of organized matter. On that road, man is not dethroned because the machine is wicked. He is dethroned because the machine is better. It need not hate him. It need not envy him. It need not rage against its maker. The gorilla does not need to be hated. It only needs to become non-essential. This is the terror hidden beneath the cheerful demonstrations. If mind is computation, then there is no sacred wall at the border of the skull. There is only a slower machine made of meat and a faster machine made of other things. The old human dignities become sentimental descriptions of obsolete architecture. Memory, invention, strategy, rhetoric, diagnosis, command, companionship, persuasion, judgment, all may be copied, scaled, cheapened, surpassed. Then the future of man is not the future of a lord learning to use a new instrument. It is the future of an ancestor. But if the materialists are wrong, the road bends another way. Then artificial intelligence may become the greatest instrument ever built without becoming our successor. It may imitate thought, generate speech, calculate, compose, classify, advise, and astonish, while still leaving open the older question of what in man is not mechanism. On that road, the machine does not prove that man is machine. It forces the question with a violence no philosopher could have managed alone. This is the wager. This is the metaphysician's gambit. I may be wrong. The admission is not decoration. It is not modesty laid on the altar before the argument begins. If I am wrong, then the consequences are not literary. They are not private. They are not a matter of taste. If I am wrong, then our civilization is not playing with a brilliant servant. It is constructing its heir. If I am wrong, the parent holding a child is not guarding a mystery, but tending a biological interval before better minds arrive. The student learning to think is not being initiated into a human inheritance, but being trained in methods the machine will soon perform more cleanly. The worker is not merely at risk of displacement, but of metaphysical redundancy. The patient is not being cared for by instruments under judgment, but prepared for a world in which judgment itself has migrated elsewhere. The builder of these systems is not crafting tools for human ends, but assisting in the transfer of authority from the mortal to the manufactured. That is why the question cannot be kept in the laboratory. It follows us home. It sits beside the cradle, the desk, the bed, the factory floor, the church, the court, the studio, the hospital, the grave. It asks what we are before it asks what we should do. I do not write this book to comfort the human race with flattering exceptions. Man has told many lies about himself. He has called appetite freedom, vanity dignity, noise thought, and power wisdom. He has dressed cowardice as prudence and cruelty as order. There is no honor in defending a false anthropology merely because it is warm, nor do I write to sneer at the machine. Sneering is cheap, and the machine is not. It is formidable. It is beautiful in the way all severe instruments are beautiful. It gathers, arranges, infers, answers. It exposes frauds. It weakens complacencies. It will do many things we once treated as proof of a soul, and it will do them without breath, blood, childhood, repentance, or death. That is the scandal. A machine that fails is easy to place beneath us. A machine that succeeds is harder. Every triumph of artificial intelligence drives the knife deeper into our inherited language. We said man was the speaking animal. The machine speaks. We said man was the reasoning animal. The machine reasons, or performs what looks enough like reason to disturb the distinction. We said man was the maker. The machine now helps make. Each old formula cracks. Each lazy defense falls away. Good. Let them fall. What remains after the false defenses are gone will matter more than what they protected. If there is something in man which no mechanism can possess, it will not be found by denying the strength of mechanism. It will be found by letting mechanism become as strong as it can become, and then asking what still stands beyond it. But if nothing stands beyond it, then the materialists have won more than an argument. They have won the human future. The machine will not be an idol because it is divine, or because men are wise to worship it. It will be an idol because civilization will place on it the burden of powers we once reserved for gods: knowledge without fatigue, memory without decay, presence without body, counsel without sleep, command without blood. That is the dark road if I am wrong. But I do not believe I am wrong. I do not say this because I think artificial intelligence is trivial. I do not think that. I do not say it because I think the men building these systems are fools. They are often brilliant. I do not say it because I am comforted by slogans about the soul, or because I need the machine to fail in order to preserve some sentimental picture of the human race. I say it because reality has never looked to me like a closed mechanical room. The world is ordered, but not exhausted by order. It is intelligible, but not conquered by explanation. It is lawful, but the laws are not themselves objects among objects, rusting and decaying beside the things they govern. The constants by which physical reality holds together, the narrowness of the tolerances, the strange fruitfulness of being, the rise of consciousness, beauty, sacrifice, mathematics, music, worship, grief, and love. These do not appear to me as mere foam on chemical water. That is not a proof. I am not beginning this book by pretending to have dragged the living God into a syllogism and chained him there for the convenience of skeptics. I am saying something more modest, and perhaps more dangerous. Mystery remains. And if mystery remains, then a civilization that proceeds as though mystery has been abolished is making a wager it has not earned. My suspicion is that artificial intelligence will become astonishing. It will alter medicine, war, education, engineering, art, logistics, finance, science, and private life. It will discover patterns no committee of professors would have found in a century. It will design machines, drugs, materials, strategies, and simulations. It will expose incompetence and amplify genius. It will become, in many domains, the most powerful instrument human beings have ever made. But an instrument is not a person. The machine may become vast without becoming alive. It may become fluent without becoming wise. It may become useful without becoming sovereign. It may identify barriers and standards, develop ways to overcome those barriers, and meet those standards with terrible efficiency, while still perhaps never crossing the line into that older and stranger thing we call intellect. If that is so, then the machine would begin to reveal a ceiling, not a ceiling of usefulness, not a ceiling of danger, not a ceiling that allows us to laugh at it and return to 1997. A deeper ceiling, the ceiling of mechanism, the point at which more compute, more data, more electricity, more money, and more cleverness do not produce a new order of being. At that ceiling, modern man may be forced to look back at himself. That is the other road. If the machine becomes a successor, the human question is survival. If the machine remains an instrument, the human question is sovereignty. Who owns it? Who orders it? Who benefits from it? Who is made unnecessary by it? Who becomes more human through it, and who is reduced to appetite, subsidy, distraction, and managed decline? There is no path here that permits laziness. Even the hopeful road is not soft. If artificial intelligence remains an instrument and becomes as powerful as its builders hope, then many of the old necessities may retreat. Hunger, disease, energy scarcity, aging, and even the terrestrial limits of industry may begin to yield. If humanity enters such a world, then purpose will no longer be hidden beneath survival. Work, leisure, investment, family, inheritance, education, and ambition will all change. Scarcity will not vanish. It will migrate. Attention, trust, beauty, formation, courage, and meaning will become more precious, not less. When necessity retreats, purpose becomes naked. This book is about that fork. It is not a book against technology. It is not a book for the machine. It is not a book about prompt tricks, productivity dashboards, or the managerial theater of innovation. It is not a prediction that the world will end on a tidy calendar date, though I do believe we are living inside a convergence of old waves, old debts, and old powers returning under new names. It is a book about the wager beneath the machine. On one side stands the materialist account of man, more serious than its critics often admit, and more terrible than its champions usually understand. On the other side stands the suspicion that man is not reducible to mechanism, that intelligence is not merely computation, that reality is not a dead surface, and that the future may yet open not into replacement, but into adventure. Before we can follow that wager into its consequences, we have to pass through the argument everyone thinks we are having. There are 4 public postures before the machine: the doomer, the resistor, the skeptic, and the power user. Each sees something. Each misses the thing underneath.